Well, hello there. Welcome to the video. I just got done watching Star Trek Strange New Worlds, Season 2, Episode 9. Subspace Rhapsody. It's the musical episode. We knew it was coming. We've known for a few weeks now that it was coming. And this is your spoiler warning. I'm going to spoil this episode. Spoiler warning is right here. Pretty much the way this episode has spoiled any last remaining ounce of respect that I had for this show. And for the absolute POSs that write it and create it. Basic episode breakdown. The Enterprise encounters a wibbly wobbly, timey-wimey distortion folding space. Pings it with a bit of music, and then this wave goes through the Enterprise and people start singing and dancing like they're in a musical. It's even called the musical reality. And they try and close it and make things worse, and it spreads throughout the fleet. And then it's in danger of spreading to the Klingons as well. Oh no. And they realise they've got to do one big final musical number to close it. Because of course they do. Of course they do. So, it's a musical with songs that were written by children, because the show is written by children. I say it in almost every review. This show is written by children. And the music, well, I'll be honest with you, the music sounded wildly artificial, but I'm not a music expert, so I'm not going to critique the music too much. The lyrics, however, were poorly timed, poorly written, oversimplified at times, and were almost written to rhyme just for the sake of rhyming. It's like they grabbed out a dictionary and started pulling words that rhymed. What's a massively scientific word we can use? I'll get the dictionary out. What rhymes with that? I'll have a look. So, the lyrics are also quite wokey dokey, to be fair. And I don't cover any of that stuff on this channel because I just don't give a crap. I don't give a crap. It's permeating everywhere. It's getting everywhere. But, you know, there are still shows, movies, and music out there that prove you don't need it. That you don't need to inject any kind of message into your stuff. And it can still be really good. So I prefer to watch that sort of stuff. I don't give a shit anymore. I don't care. I don't care. I will note one thing, one particular verse from a song that Una and James T. Kirk sing. James T. Kirk, Newkirk, sing in a corridor. I'll read it to you. I managed to get most of it. Connect to your truth rather than question. Let's deem it relevant, absent from fear or dispute. These things, yes, they mean everything. In becoming authentically you. I suppose if you're trying to put a positive message out there, yeah, fine. But we all know they're really singing about other things. Whatever. At one point, someone says, and I don't know who, at one point someone says, sometimes words aren't enough to express how you feel. Sometimes you have to sing it. with words. I found that interesting. We get another reminder that Erica flies the ship in song form, which was nice. Not. Uhura obviously saves the day at the end because Pike has to give Uhura the comm because Uhura has to save the ship. And she's got to initiate the big musical number. And she goes, "Hi, everybody! You probably don't know who I am. I'm going to show you, sweetheart. You're the comm officer on the Starship Enterprise. Everyone knows who you fucking are. All the communications go through you. You are on the bridge. There's a crew manifest. People know who you are." Anyway, she has to initiate the big song at the end, the big finish. And they have their big finish, and then they congratulate each other, and they're all happy and zingy, and it's probably the cringiest experience I have ever sat through. And I've sat through a few musicals, which I admit I don't like. There was one musical episode of a show that I give exception to, and that's Buffy. Because Buffy the Vampire Slayer earned that episode. It earned enough love from the fans to be able to take a liberty of creating a musical episode. And it had, I think, a pretty acceptable explanation as to why things were happening. It was also more possible for it to happen there and be explained that it was able to do it. This episode doesn't do that. Now, if you think I'm being overly negative about this episode, or about this show in general, I refer you to this episode's final few minutes. Or at least the final few minutes of the final musical number, which involves the Klingons. The Klingons burst into song. They burst into song. And I was expecting Klingon opera, which I would have respected more than what we got. Klingons almost rapping, which is unfortunate, and singing like a bunch of humans, not Klingons. See, this is the point. They don't put enough thought into what they're doing. They don't put enough thought into it. I'm sorry, they don't. That Klingon musical segment was one of the most painful things I've had to watch on a television screen. This episode was so unbelievably bad. Now, you are not all going to agree with me, and I'm not expecting you to. This episode, I thought, was shite. Now, there are going to be some people who enjoyed it, who love a good musical episode. But Star Trek doesn't need a musical episode. It never has. Because it's fucking Star Trek. It doesn't need it. But let me tell you something. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I'll say it in a different way. Star Trek, all new Star Trek, that is not Star Trek. It isn't Star Trek. Star Trek is gone. It is gone. These people who make this show, they own what has remained of it. And they are twisting it into something that it never was. They are telling you that you are in the wrong for believing that Star Trek was a particular way. That Star Trek had particular ideas. And Star Trek had a particular way of thinking. They don't like you. They don't like what you stand for. They don't like the fact that you like something. They are narcissists who want to destroy it and turn it into something that it's blatantly not. There are a lot of musicals out there that focus on interpersonal relationships. Part of what brings out emotion in people. But you want to do a Star Trek musical, there's thousands of ways you could do it. And they went this way. Turned it into interpersonal relationships between the crew. Could be ballads about space exploration and how much they love it. And how much they want to, how much they love being out there. And how much they love interacting with other alien species. And how inspiring that message is. Instead, the entire episode focuses on their interpersonal relationships. What's going on? So now, Star Trek is gone. They have it now. And when I say they, I mean the writers, the directors, the 50 fucking producers an episode. It doesn't fucking matter. They have it. And they are twisting it. And they are making it something it's not. Something it never was. The original people who were involved with Star Trek en masse are not there anymore. They are not there anymore. This isn't Star Trek. It's gone. This episode has crushed me. Like, seriously. Crushed me. This episode was so difficult to bloody watch, I had to take regular breaks. And when the Klingons started, wow. The actors were behaving like they had 5 minutes dance training. Even the crew that started dancing, the background dancing crew, seemed like they were amateurs. They put no effort in. None. And Benga singing was funny because you could actually understand what he was saying. What a shocking episode. It's terrible. My advice is, if you like musicals, give it a watch. You might enjoy it. If you don't like musicals, you are going to fucking hate this. And if you don't like New Trek, you're going to fucking hate this even more. And if you love New Trek, well, fuck. You might even hate it. I don't know. All I know is that this was singularly the most painful episode of Star Trek that I've ever had to watch. Ever had to watch. And I've had enough. I've got one more episode to go for this season. And then I can probably get through Discovery. Because I will just try and laugh my way through it. Because it's so laughably pathetic. This episode was terrible. It didn't need to be done. Didn't need a musical. You've still got a leftover hook from episode 1 about the corn ship. Where is it? 8 episodes and nothing? In one season, they've stolen the Enterprise. They have blown up a refinery. And they've killed a Klingon ambassador. And burst into song. And had a crossover with a cartoon. 10 episodes of a show that was supposed to, quote, please the fans. And be closer to what Star Trek actually is, don't you know? 10 episodes of a second season of a show And that's what we've got. A piss poor quality musical episode that nobody asked for and nobody wanted. Brought to you by people that do not like Star Trek. You've got a love and passion for destroying things that you love. Absolutely unreal. That's the end of this rant. That's the end of this video because I can't focus on this anymore. It's absolutely killing me up here. So thank you so much for watching this very strange review. It's not like my normal reviews. It's actually quite low energy. I'm low energy today anyway. So thank you very much for watching this video. Please hit that like button if you did. If you didn't like it, then thanks for stopping by. Those of you who did like it, please feel free to hit that subscribe button. That would really help the channel to grow. I've got one more episode to go. And I'm going to need some support to get to the end of this because I've come close to quitting a few times. So yeah. Anyway, I will see you in the next video. Until then, please look after yourselves. Look after one another. Take care. Bye bye for now.